everyone, welcome back to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. I'm here with you today on the west coast of Canada in beautiful British Columbia. And today I'm going to show you guys two finished objects, one attempt to lengthen a finished object, well not attempt, I am lengthening a finished object, and two works in progresses plus a couple of acquisitions and a swatch. So I think that's a pretty fully loaded episode planned for today, and we're going to start off with my finished object, which is also what I'm wearing. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to last much of the episode in this. It's actually very warm, and wearing it inside is kind of unnecessary, but I'm going to do my best to try and wear this for at least a good portion of the episode. It's really comfortable, but warm. Anyways, so what I'm wearing today is the Step-by-Step cardigan by Florence Miller. And it is one of my finished objects. That's right, I said I had two. It's my first finished object we're going to talk about. So I knit this out of yarn from Bramble Ridge. I'm going to show you up close the yarn because I actually have almost a full skein of it left, or ball, because I wound it. But this is yarn by Bramble Ridge, and it is her woolen spun yarn. It's a DK weight, and this is the colorway Dusk. I bought 4 skeins of it, and because it is from a hand-dyed company, I did decide to alternate my balls of yarn so that I didn't get any color variation or an obvious line or anything like that. But I only did that for the body. I used 2 balls of yarn for the body, and I just went back and forth with them. And then on the sleeves, I used one, the third ball of yarn on the sleeves, and I dipped into the 4th ball of yarn for just the end of one of my sleeves plus for the button band. And honestly, I haven't noticed any difference in color variation. I don't think the sleeves look different than the body, and I don't think the button band looks different than the body or the sleeves. So I think she did an amazing job in making sure that the skeins she gave me were very similar in color and shading so that I didn't have any obvious lining or anything like that. So I'm very happy with the yarn. It is a little bit of a rougher yarn. It's because it's woolen spun, it's light yarn. It's a very lightweight yarn, but it's a little bit scratchy, but not itchy, if that makes sense. I can feel the toothiness of it, if you will, but I'm not feeling itchy from it. So that's very, very nice. And I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt under it right now, and so that definitely makes a difference. If I had a long sleeve shirt, I wouldn't feel any of it. So I'm going to stand up so you guys can see it on me. I do have a good amount of positive ease. The pattern called for 15 centimeters of positive ease, and I feel like I've probably got about the recommended amount. My sleeves are a bit looser, so it's not tight to my skin. I'm not sure if you can see how far down it goes, but it hits just kind of right at my, I don't know, bottom of my hips, I guess, because my hip bones are way up here. So yeah, a little bit lower than that. So that's good. So I don't have to worry about the shirt underneath it being longer than the cardigan. And I did a tubular bind off, which is what it calls for, or Italian. I can't remember which one it was. It's a little bit sloppy. I think the sleeves turned out a little bit better. Not sure if you can see that very well, but yeah. And then the button band, so Florence does the button band in a really unique way. She does it where you are making the button band without cutting the yarn. So I really like that, less ends to weave in the future. When I make cardigans in the future that call for this sort of a button band, because it's a double knit button band, I think I'll use her tutorial because it's a really ingenious way of doing it. So I knit this with a size C because my swatch was a little bit off. It was 1 stitch too many on my swatch, so it was a bit smaller. And so I went for a size C just to make sure that it would give me enough positive ease. I'm glad that I did. I was a little worried as I was knitting the yoke of it though, because I was noticing that my cord had a lot of stitches on it. There we go. My cord had a lot of stitches on it, And so I was a little worried that it was going to be a little bit too big. So I ended up omitting, I think, 8 increases, which I'm glad I did because it's definitely like the right size. I think if it had 8 extra increases, it would be a bit too oversized and I would be unhappy with the fit. What else? So it's a top-down knit. It's her step-by-step cardigan. It is a free pattern, and she does have a YouTube tutorial that walks you through it as well, which is marvelous. So it's a top-down, like you're not seeking or anything like that, but it is because it's top-down and it's a cardigan. You are doing a lot of purling. So if anybody has like issues or gets sore from purling, this kind of cardigan is a little bit harder that way. And the sleeve, oh yeah, the sleeves are knitting around though, so that's, you know, mostly what sleeves are like. And so for me, I used a size 6 needle for the body. I used a size 5 needle for my ribbing, and I used a size 4.5 millimeter needle for my button band. I did notice after, because I knit the whole body, I knit the sleeves, and then I blocked it because I wanted it to be a bit like less rolled up to pick up the stitches for the button band. And then as I was knitting the button band, I was like, ugh, it's looking a little bit tight. Like it's kind of scrunching up the body as I'm knitting it. But I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it because I did block the whole body, but I don't obviously have the button band blocked. So when I blocked it after I did the button band, I did make sure to like stretch it out and make sure that those like kind of bunched areas were stretched and smooth. So I don't see that happening anymore. I think I did a good job in blocking it to make sure it wasn't bunching where the button band was connected. Yeah, so that thankfully blocked out. I did add length. Her length, did I write it down? Oh yeah, it should be 18 centimeters, and I did mine to 26 centimeters, so I added 8 centimeters of length. Just, I don't think I even like was paying close enough attention, but I'm glad I did the length because I do like it where it hits me. But because I did add more length, I did lessen the ribbing on the body, and because I shortened the ribbing on the body, I did match it to the sleeves as well because I didn't want the sleeve ribbing to be longer than the body ribbing. That probably would have looked a little silly. So I made sure my sleeves and body were the same, which is 5 centimeters, and in the pattern it called for a 7 centimeter ribbing. So really I'm only 6 centimeters more in length, total length, than in the pattern that they suggested. And yeah, I think that's all except for the buttons. So I will try to remember to link the buttons down below. I did get them off of an Etsy seller, and I'm not remembering the name of the company, but they are very adorable wooden buttons, and they've got like a little leafy motif on them. I'm not sure if you can see that. Try to take a picture of them if you can't see that. I do have 2 more of them. They came in a pack of 6, so I do have like 2 extra. And it just has this like kind of lacquered feeling backing, or maybe a plasticky backing. So yeah, they were pretty affordable. They were just, I want to say like $6 or something like that. So I'm really happy with them. They came really quickly. She had a lot of really nice buttons on her page on Etsy, so it was kind of hard to choose ones. But I wanted to buy from a local seller too, so I'm pretty sure she is in Canada somewhere, because I tried to stick to Canada because I didn't want to like deal with, you know, post and duty fees and whatever, because I've never actually bought from Etsy before. That was my first time ever getting anything off of Etsy, so good experience. Okay, on to my second project. I think I'm done with that one. Did I have anything else I wanted to say about it? Actually, let me quickly look at some. Yeah, I think the only thing that I wanted to also mention is that her pattern has raglan increases from like your cast on, which is just a normal long tail cast on. She does raglan increases as you go for the shoulder shaping, but there are no German short rows in the pattern. Okay, on to the second finished object. Now, before I grab it, this finished object is actually a repeat finished object, if you will, because I made one, if you've seen previous episodes, I made one, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, whatever episodes ago, and I still had like pretty much half the yarn left, so I decided to gift that one, and I made a second one for me. So I'm going to show you the item and the leftover yarn, because I was like really playing some yarn chicken with one of the balls because I was holding 2 at a time. Anyways, so this is my toque. I made the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. So this is the same one that I made a number of episodes ago, and it is made with 2 yarns held together. I held the one yarn was, oh, I'm dropping things. One of the yarns I held with it was from Autumn and Indigo Fibers, and it was the lace mohair, and it's in the colorway Umber. So it was 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. It was 1 ply, 50 gram, 459 yards, and so lace weight. And then the other one was the Valhalla Farm, and it was Farmhouse Sock, which was 100% superwash merino, and it is in the colorway Tequila Sunrise, 410 yards, 100 grams. So I held those 2 together, and it really makes this beautiful fuzzy looking yarn. And it's not, so this is a finished object, but it is not blocked yet. So I do have to block it still. It's a little bit tighter than the other one that I made. I didn't write down, or at least I can figure out where I wrote it down, what size I did for the other one. So I just went with the second size for this one, and I think that was the one that I used last time. But I didn't indicate. So I used, I did the second size, which is the size small, and I'm pretty sure I would have done the same size the first time. I don't think I would have done a medium, so I just think that maybe, and then the first I did cast it on and I realized I used the wrong needle size, so I had to, undo it and get a bigger needle size. So I'm glad I did that, because it is quite, like, it's fitted. It doesn't feel too tight. It feels like it's going to stay on my head nice and snug. I'm happy with that. I definitely would not want it tighter though. So I'm glad I changed to the bigger needle size afterwards. And yeah, so this is how she's fitting. The other one had a lot more room up here. This one comes right kind of close to my head, just has a little bit of give, but I couldn't do any more than that because I was like almost completely out of the lace mohair. Whew. But yeah, that's my second finished object. So for the Oslo hat, you start at the bottom, you knit a bunch, and then you connect the cast on edge with your live stitches, and then you knit some more, and then you do a turn, and then so then you can get like a triple fold. Basically your brim is like a 3-layer brim, and then yeah, you just knit up a little bit more and you do your short or your decreases and you're done. It's actually, I love this pattern. It's a great pattern. It's so like almost mindless knitting until you have to do that little turn, which really isn't that hard to do. Or the pickup. I guess the pickup is the hardest. Mine's not the cleanest, but it's hidden, so it doesn't matter. So I'll probably make more Oslo hats in the future. It is a really, really nice simple pattern and a really nice finished object. I will block it, and I'll show you the blocked finished object in the next episode so that you guys can see, and I'll see too if it grows a bit more, so I have a bit more give and a bit more looseness around my head. So the yarn I'm going to bring up close for you guys. I already told you the type of yarn it is. I should have just held it up close to you when I was talking about it, but oh well. So this one is the lace mohair, and this is all I have left. It's like just the tiniest amount. So I might have gotten one more row out of it. An itty bitty amount. So I felt like I was playing yarn chicken with that one. The other one I do have more of left. This is the Farmhouse Sock in the colorway Tequila. This one is more like, this is the variegated one. And there's a good amount left on that one. I might have enough to do, I probably won't, but I might have enough to do a yarn cozy. There we go. I might have enough for yarn cozy with that one, so that's what I'm planning with this leftover stuff. Because it's like, what do you do with that tiny amount otherwise? I don't know. Yarn cozy. Okay, so those are my 2 finished objects. I'm going to show you guys my lengthened finished object that I'm working on now. So this one was a finished object from a couple of episodes ago. It's the mini mock neck tank by Jessie May Designs. And when I first knit it, it was very cropped, which it's supposed to be. Like if you look at her pictures, it's quite cropped on her. But I don't wear crop tops. And so like I'll never wear this. And I had a good amount of yarn left. I just kind of panicked because I knit the whole body the first time, and then I was worried I was going to run out of yarn, so I shouldn't have done this, but I did the ribbing, I did the bind off, which is an Italian bind off, so that's like fun to pick out. And then I went back and I picked up the stitches for the neckline, because you do the mini mock neck last, essentially. And then when I finished that, I still had a good amount of yarn left, but I had already done the ribbing and the bind off, which regrettably I regretted. And I'm like, I'm like, I'll block it and I'll see if it lengthens. It didn't really. And so I just put it to the side. I'm like, I really should unpick it and lengthen it, but I didn't have it in me to do it at that moment, but I finally did it. I unpicked that bind off. I unraveled, like I put in an afterthought lifeline first. Then I unpicked the bind off, unraveled it to the lifeline, picked up those stitches, and then I started just knitting more stockinette. And so far, my lifeline is here. Yeah, there. And I pretty much knit stockinette. I did knit this whole amount with my picked out stitches. This is all stockinette. It was my ribbing stitches. So I've got that much length now. I'm going to bring it up a little closer. If you can see where that lifeline is, maybe, hopefully. And a good, I don't know, 5-6 centimeters, something like that. And that was the last of the yarn from the bind off as well. And now I've got this much still to work with. And it's on a toilet paper roll because I had to wind it together. So this is my makeshift solution for winding it together, putting it on a toilet paper roll. But it works. So yeah, that's fine. So I did write down all of my weights and stuff so that I can make sure that I don't overuse before I start doing the ribbing and stuff. So for this one here, I will use 5 grams before I start the ribbing and the bind off, and then it will have added like maybe 8 inches to the length. So that's really good. And so I'm going to tell you about the yarn, and then I'll show you a little bit of the extra leftovers that I have as well. But this yarn is, actually I'll get out the tag. Yeah. This yarn is the Sheepshire hand-dyed yarn, and it's the Pixie Sock fingering weight. It's 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, and it's the colorway Crocus. And I got that in the spring. Yes, the spring box from Twice Sheared Sheep when I did their year of seasonal boxes. There we go. And then, so that's this like one that has kind of the purple in it and stuff, and I'll show this a little bit closer because I do have this extra. And then this just like kind of green one, this light kind of green one, that's a self-dyed yarn. I bought a bunch of undyed yarn from Knit Picks, and it's just their BFL and silk blend. I think it's like 80% BFL, 20% silk, I believe, something like that. And it's a fingering weight, and I was like thinking, oh, I'll dye my own yarn, and I did it once and I regretted it because it killed my back. So I still have like, I don't know, 8 skeins of undyed yarn left to figure out what to do with. But the ones that I did dye, I'm like, now what do I do with them? I have 3 of them. So I finally decided with one of them what to do. So that's what that is, my mini mock neck tank. And I'm gonna just show you, so after I combined those two, I even still have some of that Pixie yarn left from the Sheepshire. I have this much. So I'm probably going to do the same thing with this as I was going to do with the farmhouse sock yarn that I have left over, which is just make another yarn cozy. But I'm keeping a hold of it. I'm not going to do that until this is all done because I want to make sure that I don't need to dip into this for some of the bind off, just in case I underestimate, overestimate, whatever. So that is that so far. Yeah. So it's coming along. This is where it technically ended the last time. So like my belly button is right here, pretty much ended at my belly button last time. And now it's going to go probably as long as my cardigan maybe, hey? So that's good. I'll be much more comfortable wearing it. And like it's a great fit, and I do love the like wide straps here, and you can wear your bra under it and it doesn't show anything, and this doesn't come too low or any of that. So I really do like this pattern. I just needed it to be longer. So those are all of my finished objects slash refinishing a previous finished object. I hope to get this done in the next day or two. I think this will be a quick one to finish fixing. So that's my hope, is to get this one done and then move on with the other projects I have on the go. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my works in progresses, and I'm gonna start with my kind of amalgamated, figuring out a bottom-up knit t-shirt that I'm doing first. I was really hoping, before I pick it up, I was really hoping to have it done, or at least the top part of it done before this episode, but I ended up having to rip out a good chunk of it because I had gotten to the neck and I was like binding it off even, and it was too high and it was really wonky. It kind of like came around and then did this weird dip thing. I had bound off, I don't know what I did, but it was not looking okay. So I had to rip out a bunch of stitches. So we're back to this part of it. And it's basically, I think the last time I showed this, I had attached this one sleeve and this sleeve hadn't been attached yet. So I did do a good amount. Like I've got this, both sleeves are attached. And I've got them, you know, started with the yoke here, but then I had gotten like much further and I had to rip it all back. But this is how she's looking so far. So this is my kind of combining the June top by Petite Knit with the Ragmore top by Petite Knit. And I didn't think I'd have enough yarn to do a t-shirt when I started making this. That's why I chose the June top, because it's a tank top. But then as I was going, I'm like, I think I'm going to have a lot of leftover yarn if I do just a tank top. So then I decided to, why don't I do a bottom-up t-shirt instead? So I had to find a t-shirt that would work. And I chose the Rigmore tee. And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have, because it is a patterned one, and that makes a difference for like your decreases and stuff, I'm sure. And I thought I could improvise, but it didn't work out the first time. So I'm kind of at a standstill. I think what I'm going to do from here, so I am at the point where I just have the hand, oh my goodness, she did her own winding of the yarn. Oh. Anyways, we're Bramble Ridge, so this is all from Bramble Ridge. I'm just at the part where I'm adding in this colorful yarn again at the top here, and I think what I'm going to do is do short rows now, and then bind off, and then do like a collar. That's my plan. We'll see. But that's how she's looking so far. It does definitely need more length on the bottom, which is why these stitches are on hold. I'm going to pick up and lengthen it once I finish the top. I just want to make sure that I get the top done properly first so I don't run out of yarn. And I might even lengthen the sleeves, because the sleeves are just kind of a cap sleeve right now. We'll see. They do look kind of cute as a cap sleeve. I might leave them like that, but I'm definitely going to add length to this. So the yarn that I'm using is from Bramble Ridge, and she gave me a skein of DK weight Surrey and a skein of her own hand spun yarn, which is amazing and it's beautiful. And so I wanted to combine them. So that's why I'm making this t-shirt, and I'll show you the yarns here. Actually, this is my toilet paper roll again. This one is the DK Surrey. So it's just a really thick, fuzzy Surrey yarn. And I'm trying to show you the strand of it separate from the ball of it, but that's what that one is. It's super fluffy, and it's really hard to knit because it's so fluffy. And then this one is her hand dyed one, and I'm just going to show you, I've got this one just a little bit. It's beautiful. Here, let's see if I can, where's the bigger piece? I've got it all over the place. It's this beautiful stripy orange and blues and blacks and greens, and it's gorgeous and it's so beautiful. I love working with it, and it feels so nice and soft. So I've got kind of pieces everywhere because I had to undo the neckline, and when I undid the neckline, I had to cut the yarn to pick up the stitches for the neckline and everything, so I've kind of got scraps everywhere. So that's fun, but it'll get finished. So I'm hoping that some point before my next recording, I'll have the neckline fixed and figured out and finished. That's my goal anyways. Whew, okay, so that's that one. Oh, I did have one attached. There's a better view of it. I'm all over the place, look at that. Okay, my last work in progress is my husband's zipper sweater by Petite Knit. So this one's in the middle of blocking actually right now, so she's damp. But I've gotten a lot done since the last time I showed her. So the last time I think I was maybe here, and I did a bunch of the body, and I did almost finish a sleeve here as well. The sleeve is technically done except for the ribbing. What I did was I did all the decreases, which is what are the stitch markers are indicating. And then I had my husband try it on, and it pretty much was hitting him just a bit above his wrist. So like bracelet length, I would say almost. And I was nervous that it was going to be too long, so I decided I'll block it, see how much it lengthens, get him to try it on once it's dry again, and then see where it hits, and then either knit a couple more rows, because I think the pattern wants you to get 44 centimeters before you do the ribbing, and I think I was at 42. But I don't want to go to 44 if it's going to be too long. So yeah, so that's the plan. He'll try it on, and then we'll decide if he needs a couple more centimeters before the ribbing, or if we just go right to the ribbing. And then once this sleeve is done, I'm going to pick up for this sleeve and do this one right away so that I get the right length, and it's like, yeah, they're done. And then I might even do the zipper next after that before I finish the body, because I really want to get the zipper out of the way. I'm kind of nervous about that zipper. I've never knit one in or sewn one in, I guess. So I should do that before I chicken out and it never gets finished. Because once the body's done, you're like, close enough. No, I need to do that. The pattern says to use 5 millimeter needles for the body and 4 millimeter needles for the cuffs. I am using 6 millimeter needles for the body and 5 millimeter needles for the cuff to get gauge. I'm doing the size medium, which is supposed to give supposed to give like 20 centimeters of positive ease or something like that. But my husband didn't want that much positive ease, so if I had gone with the large, it probably would have hit about the right positive ease, but we went with the medium to make sure it wasn't too oversized. He didn't want it to be too baggy, so yes, size medium for him. And I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash Bulky Weight Yarn, and it's in the colorway Cobblestone Heather. So it's 137 yards for 100 grams. And it is machine washable, which is why I chose this yarn, because I want to make sure that if it accidentally goes in the machine, it should be fine, because it's 100% superwash wool. So I bought 11 balls, I believe, of it, and I'm on my 5th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm on my 5th ball. So this is what she looks like, all kind of caked up. It is a little bit of a rougher feeling wool, but it's okay because it's going to be an outer garment. So if my husband finds that it's a bit rough, it's not going to really be touching his skin, besides the neck part, but that's pretty loose. Yeah. So I think that's all I have to say about that one. I'm going to have to put her back on the blocking mat so that she can dry a bit more. So I'm going to move on to acquisitions, which is also my swatch that I want to show as well, which is the last thing in this episode. I actually ordered a couple of different yarn things, but from different companies. So this is the one that came first. This is the one that I started my swatching on and stuff. But I had ordered some yarn from I had ordered some yarn from Burkana Wool. Sorry, no, that's not right. Burkana Wool Shop, yes. Burkana Wool Shop in Nelson, BC. And I wanted to get the Drops Charisma yarn to make a shawl. And I don't know if you remember episodes ago, I said I don't usually wear shawls, but I'm making a shawl for a gift. So I chose to I'm making the Malabrigo Dos Terras, I don't know how to say that right, Barnstable shawl. That's a picture of it. For a gift knit. And it's my first time doing Mosaic. There we go. It's my first time doing a Mosaic knit. So this is a really good pattern to learn Mosaic knitting, because a good chunk of it is just the garter stitch first before you go into the Mosaic knitting. So it's not like an all over Mosaic knit project. So I thought it would be a really good one to learn how to do Mosaic, and it's a beautiful pattern. So I thought it'd be also a beautiful knit for the gift. So I bought 2 different colors. The first color is the Drops Charisma, and it's a superwash. That's the other thing. I wanted a superwash wool so that the gift person, the giftee, can wash it in their washing machine, and it won't matter. So that's why I chose this one, Drops Charisma Mix, and it is a, it's 100% wool, and it is a DK weight, and does it have a color? On my receipt, it calls it anthracite. So I bought 5 of these just in case I needed extra. It's almost like a black. It's like a nice dark gray. And then for the mosaic part, I bought this Drops Charisma Blue Turquoise. In the color 60. And yeah, it is DK. So I started the swatch already because I wanted to get on this. The giftee is my massage therapist, and she is possibly not going to be my massage therapist in the new year. So I wanted to give her a thank you for being such a great massage therapist for the amount of years that I've had her. So this was my gift idea. And so I did the swatch already. So this is my swatch. I ended up doing it with bigger needles because I'm a tight knitter. So the pattern calls for, the pattern calls for 4mm needles for the garter and 4.5 for the mosaic. So I did my garter in 4.5 and my mosaic is in 5mm. And this is what she's looking like so far. So I think she's looking pretty good so far. I'm really happy with the colors that I chose. I don't know my massage therapist's favorite color, but I often see her in blue and like darker colors and grays and blacks and stuff. So I thought this would be a good color combination for her. And I think it's going to be not too, like, it's not so contrasty, but it's still, you can still see that they're 2 different colors, if that makes sense. I think if I were to do like a black and white picture of it, it wouldn't be like super drastic, but it would be enough that you could see the difference. If that, I don't know if that makes sense, but I like how they're looking together. I'm not sure if my back is looking the way that mosaic normally looks. That's my back of the swatch. I'm going to have to watch a couple of videos just to see how mosaic knitting is done, just to make sure I'm doing it right, because I'm following the pattern, and I did the mosaic chart for my swatch, but I just want to make sure that my like slip stitches are correct and that the back does look like the back should look, because I want it to make it look as neat as possible, so that if it does, you know, when you're wearing it, you're going to probably see parts of the back. I want to make sure it's not looking, you know, ugly. Yeah, so that's that. And that's my only acquisition. Oh, but the nice thing is when they sent that, I have to show you guys. I brought it in here. Where did I put it? I'm not sure if they send this every time you order online. I had bought yarn from them in the summertime when I was out that way on vacation. But when I ordered this one online, it came with a cute little tag, not tag, like it's like a tag, but it's wooden. So would you still call it a tag? Maybe. But it says made with love, and you can stitch it into your handmade item. So I thought that was really cute, and I think I'm going to attach it at one of the bottom ends of my shawl for my massage therapist. Yeah. Okay. So that's everything. I'm almost done. Like I feel like I don't have a lot on my needles right now, even though I still have 2 semi half finished items, plus I'm going to be starting a shawl here in a day or 2, but I still feel like that's not a ton of stuff, which is ridiculous. Plus I have that color work one that I didn't work on at all between episodes. So I have 4 things, but I still want to cast on stuff, so I might have more things on the needles next time I see you guys, especially because the yarn that's coming is for a project that I'm really excited about. So once it comes, I think I will start that one also right away. So I shouldn't start anything until that yarn comes. Save it for when that yarn comes. Okay. Anyways, with that, you guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.